Hello and welcome back to another episode of the On the Sideline podcast with Jackson and Kyle. I am Jackson. I'm joined here, as always, by the man who always knows you say defer, not play defense. Kyle, how are you doing?
Doing pretty good. Is that the ultimate tank move, or is that just a another reason to get Joe Barry fired when Justin Jefferson has 300 yards?
Yeah. I love how poor Joe Barry. Why is he? He can't catch a break at this point. Everyone's
Yeah,
blaming. What's he supposed to do there?
he's probably at fault for this. He probably told him to do it.
I think so. This was a Joe Barry plan from the beginning.
Yeah, man. Everything is his fault at this point. That's what I think.
Yeah, a lot of criticism from Joe Barry, a lot of criticism from them across the board. Kyle, a lot of stuff to talk about. We have three Christmas games that we haven't gone over yet, so we probably shouldn't waste any time. Let's just get into it. Let's start off with the Chiefs, who are just completely reeling at this point. Kyle, the last time the Raiders got a completion in the Raiders-Chiefs game was in the first quarter. They didn't get a completion in the second quarter, the third quarter, or the fourth quarter, and still won this football game. Crazy stuff going on in Kansas City.
Yes, indeed, very crazy stuff. And this team's just bad at this point, right? Like, I would say, watching this game, this was the first time I felt like once they turned it over on downs, and maybe that's a little too easy, but like they even with the Raiders getting the ball at 9:47 left, I think it was, and they got a couple first downs, punted. Chiefs got the ball back with 6 minutes left. And I'm just like, I didn't like actually believe this team would I actually didn't believe that this team was going to come back. And I was like, I feel like this is the first time during the Patrick Mahomes era that I'm like, I have no faith in this team winning this game. And they still kind of almost did it. They went down and scored one touchdown. But yeah, I mean, it's just like I have no more faith in this team. I have no more faith in this team. And that's probably, this team losing its aura almost is the biggest story of the season. Like I don't fear the Chiefs anymore. And that was the biggest thing they had going for them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we kind of view them as like, oh, they're the new Patriots, but it's like maybe they're not. And maybe maybe the Patriots were the Patriots. Like that's not going to happen. Also, I accidentally, in creating a banner, accidentally wrote Giants Eagles in the chat. So that's why that's there. So make sure you show up live so you can see me accidentally put stuff in the chat. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's crazy. It's just crazy what's going on. Got to give credit to the Raiders defense, of course. Yeah. But like this, I mean, so far, I feel like the Chiefs offense hasn't been terrible. This was terrible. I mean, this was like they scored 14 and they gave the Raiders 14 here.
Yeah. I mean, it was just a miserable performance, and those back-to-back defensive touchdowns completely. I mean, that defined this game. I mean, it's the difference in this game between winning and losing. I mean, an ugly win is like frustrating, but at least you win the game. You lost this game because of that. So, I think there are things to kind of nitpick here with the Chiefs, and like you said, give a ton of credit to the Raiders. Everybody knew they were running the ball basically after the first quarter. Zamir White still had a very good game. Malcolm Kontz, is that his last name? Is that how you say it? With
Sure.
the 3 sacks and the 4 QB hits in this game. I mean, he was a monster. I mean, all of this kind of worked out in their favor. So, big game for the Raiders, and, nice to beat your rivals like that.
Yeah, definitely. Always fun. And hey, the Raiders are they're not out of it. Still alive. Just win, baby.
Just win, baby. That's right. So yeah, they still got a shot. And I mean, the biggest story from this is like the Chiefs can't get the 1 seed now, right? But then also, the Raiders still have this outside shot. So we'll see how it plays out. I don't think they get it just because I don't trust their offense enough. But at the same time, good for them to kind of turn this season around. And it seems like that it's, especially with how bad it got at points, and obviously Josh McDaniels firing, I think that's a big turnaround for them.
Yeah, I also think winning out probably still doesn't get them in, which is I think that's the bigger issue for them. But I don't know if the Chiefs lose out, they could be out of the playoffs. It's still possible. It's unlikely, but possible.
It is possible, which would be wild.
Yeah, I think they win one of the next 2 games. I think they get in. Let's go to the Giants Eagles. We'll just go in order. This is a weird game, right? Because it was all Giants or all Eagles. Eagles are back. Went exactly as we expected. All of a sudden, a couple of Danny DeVito not Danny DeVito, a couple of Tyrod Taylor drives, but the Eagles still find a way to win.
Yeah, they definitely did find a way to win. The defense played really well in the first half, and I was impressed with that, especially when they were kind of, kind of ripped apart for their performances the last few weeks, and rightfully so, I think, for how they played the last few weeks. But then all of a sudden, like you said, it was this Tyrod Taylor thing where they gave up 22 points in the second half, and all of a sudden, this is interesting down to the wire. So I don't know what to think of this team at this point, man. Like, yeah, you're fine, but you got the win. It still feels a little underwhelming, I gotta say.
Yeah, it is. I mean, I don't know what we didn't learn anything here, right? The Eagles are still a good team. They still should beat the Giants, but it's like, man, this game shouldn't have been as close as it is. So, I mean, they have a shot at the one seed. Them and Detroit now all of a sudden have a shot at the one seed, which we'll get to in just a second. So that's the good news. But like, it almost feels like they need it if they're going to go on a deep run.
Right. No, I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, it's wide open for them, but they got to keep winning. And then I don't know. Like I know, we can overreact to the night game with San Francisco, but I still feel like San Francisco looks like the class of the NFC.
Why don't we just go there again? We got, we don't have to spend forever on the Christmas games, but I mean, this was a huge game, a lot going into it. It's the day where, so for one thing, I'm getting kind of annoyed with do we need 15 MVP comments during the broadcast? Can we just watch the game and then talk about MVP like after the fact?
No, we can't not talk about MVP at every
Yeah.
friggin' second of the world, right? We
Uh-huh.
have to bring it up every second. And guess what? MVP candidate Lamar Jackson outplayed MVP candidate Brock Purdy, and that basically defined this game.
Yeah, I don't know. Everyone's well, I guess, and it also outplayed MVP candidate Christian McCaffrey because now it's oh well,
Yeah.
Brock Purdy's bad, so Mr. McCaffrey deserves the MVP. I don't know. It is what it is. We've given our MVP talk already. Although I am kind of annoyed that it's just whichever quarterback plays well on prime time, like this week, deserves MVP. Listen, this was a bad day by Brock Purdy. Gets
Mhm.
kind of benched for Sam Darnold a little bit. Apparently he could have came back in, but I think really if the game was closer, I think he would have gotten. If it was the playoffs, he's coming back in. I think. I don't think it's. They thought. I think they knew Brock Purdy's their guy. 4 interceptions. A lot of them were flukier though. Granted, he's kind of had good turnover luck this season. It kind of pendulum swung the other way. I think if this game is played again, I think it's a much closer game. But to me, I think at this point, Baltimore has to be Super Bowl favorites, right? They have the best record in football. They beat the other team we're talking about as like the Super Bowl favorite. I mean, Baltimore plays Miami next week. Winner of that probably gets the 1 seed. So still a lot of work to be done for Baltimore, obviously. But right now, I mean, gun to my head, I have to pick one team. I think I'm picking Baltimore.
Yeah, I just think it's they've beaten up every team and they did what they had to do in this game. So absolutely, right now they're the Super Bowl favorites, and it's reflected with having the best record in the league. So they've had a tough schedule, they've managed it well, they beat the teams in front of them, and I think you deserve a ton of credit for that. So yeah, absolutely, I would have Ravens as Super Bowl favorites right now, and I mean, yeah, I agree with you with the whole MVP narrative, but Lamar Jackson has been terrific this season. I think this offense with him and Todd Monken has been awesome. He's used these receivers well, and I thought all of it really looked good in this game. So Lamar was awesome in this game, and if Lamar can be like this the whole season and into the playoffs, yeah, I think it's going to be really tough for any team to beat Baltimore this season.
Yeah, I think I'm a little frustrated. It feels like it's the same mindset of why Jalen Hurts was the MVP favorite for a certain
Yes.
point. It's like you have the best record, and so you're the thing. I think the difference though is like Lamar's actually put together an MVP caliber season.
Yeah. The thing is, like, my whole thing with Jalen Hurts is like he is progressively worse than he was last season. And that
Hmm.
was my issue with him winning MVP. Lamar's been good this season.
Yeah,
This is a very, very good Lamar season, if not great. It's bordering on not quite the touchdowns that he had, but it's bordering on his exceeding his previous MVP year, which I think is also impressive. So I think that's one of the things I still would lean Josh Allen in my pick. But
hmm
at the same time, like I think he's definitely on the candidate list with I still think Dak Prescott's in it if we're going to go through the whole MVP candidates. But he's been terrific this year. He's checked all the boxes, and I the one other thing I really love is that we now have to say like, oh, all of these GMs are idiots for not wanting Lamar Jackson in the offseason.
yeah.
Um, like I'm pretty sure like I know they all came out and said, oh, we're not interested in Lamar Jackson, and I thought that was always the interesting thing is
Hmm.
that they are all basically like, oh, we're not interested. But I'm pretty sure they weren't interested because they knew the Ravens were going to match any offer that they had. Like I'm pretty confident that's the case.
Yeah, probably still would have been worth it to throw an offer out there. But yeah, but the Ravens, they would have been able to. You would have either had to give the Ravens 2 first-round picks, or they would have just matched the offer. You're right; they probably would have matched the offer either way. So, yeah. But let's move on. Why don't we? We can talk about these two teams when we get into more of the show. Kyle, it was funny. So Sunday, you were talking about like perfect week. Here we go, and of course, both your Monday picks went wrong, but you still had a great week. Retook the lead as against lowest score wins. So now I'm going to be picking first. A great week for Team Kyle, and I'm just going to get into it. Let's go. I'm going to give you Falcons Bears, the game we're all here to talk about.
Yeah, I think that should be a primetime game of the week. I agree.
Yeah.
No, not quite, but I think it's going to be interesting. I am going to go with the Atlanta Falcons. Actually, I'm changing this at the last second. I've liked what the Bears have done the last few weeks. I think it's been very interesting. I definitely think they can defend Atlanta. This secondary has turned into a very good group overall, and I think that they would be able to cover these guys. My worry when it comes to the Bears is that they, if Taylor Heineke is going to at least be able to take care of the ball, which is a difference between him and Desmond Ridder, at least a little bit take care of the ball. Mm-hmm. I think the Falcons have a shot at winning this game, so I'll go with the Falcons.
Yeah, I don't know. These are two teams that I feel like have been so inconsistent this year. I don't want to bet on either of them. I'm a little surprised Chicago is favored. These two teams both technically have a chance to make the playoffs. Only 8 teams have been eliminated here with 2 games left, which is kind of crazy. Although the Bears would need to win out and get a ton of help. They're kind of the one team that's not mathematically eliminated, but eliminated. Atlanta still has a chance. It's still going to take a lot, though. They're going to need to win out and get some help. But I don't know. I hear you. I mean, it just we know what Atlanta is, but can they do what they want to do? I have no idea.
Yeah, they definitely are a toss up for me, but I still think like we still could easily see the Justin Fields 3 interception performance, and then all of a sudden like this good Bears defense could give up 28, 30 points because they're defending short fields the whole time, right?
Yeah, completely. Complete wild game. I did have Atlanta winning as well, but let's just move on. Let's go to one of the more exciting games, or maybe you're going to pick a worse game. I don't know.
Yeah, divisional matchup. Let's go 2 teams fighting for a playoff spot. Packers Vikings.
Okay, yeah, this was next on my list. Let's just do it. Why don't we? I'll lock up the Vikings here. I know this is an insane take to lock up Nick Mullins, but so here's kind of what's leading me to do it. So the story that came out today was Jair Alexander during last week in Carolina. He went up to he wasn't a captain. However, he still went up to get the coin toss. He called it, won the coin toss, and then instead of saying that he wanted to defer, he said they want to play defense. Into which the ref said, you mean defer, right? And he said, oh, yeah, defer, of course. And then the coaching staff not thrilled with Jair Alexander doing that. He gets suspended by the Packers for a week because of this for this game. Justin Jefferson's coming to town. Listen, I get it's Nick Mullins and all that. I don't trust Joe Barry's defense to stop anyone. I think the Vikings will be able to move the ball enough. And this Vikings defense has played very well. I think the Packers might be able to score a little, but I think that I'm going to give Minnesota the edge here.
Yeah. Does it change at all if Jaron Hall's playing?
No. I didn't realize it was Jaron Hall instead of Nick, but no. Whoever they're playing is the same to me.
Yeah, I get the logic. Like if the Packers give up like points to Jaron Hall, like what are we even doing here? Like,
I mean, they just gave up 30 to Bryce Young.
Yeah, I get it. I don't know, man. Like, it is kind of wild. Like, where was the numbers I was looking? The 5 quarterbacks have had their best PFF grades this season against the Packers: Justin Herbert, Baker Mayfield, Bryce Young, Kirk Cousins, Tommy DeVito. That's not great.
Yeah,
that is not great at all. Yeah, I mean, if they're giving up all this stuff to Jaron Hall, then yeah, I mean, it should be more than Joe Barry just leaving the town at the end of the season. If that's the case. So, this is a really bad situation. And, I hope they're able to get stops and find a way to win this game because the Packers, Obviously, need this one to win. Both these teams still need this one. Both of them are outside the playoff picture. But I'm leaning Green Bay, but I get the logic put to it because Jair Alexander's out, and that secondary is a mess without him.
Yeah, this is an elimination game. Losers out, and I think probably mathematically will be out. Maybe even definitely mathematically will be out in this scenario. Both teams need a win, and it's like, listen, I know people don't love Jair Alexander. Like, I get it; he hasn't been great in the past couple of years. But like, okay, now who's covering Justin Jefferson? Is it Keyshawn Nixon? Is that where we're going? Like, I legitimately don't know what we're doing here. Like, that's a real concern.
Yeah, that's a bit of a mismatch.
I don't know. Maybe I would have just said like, "Hey, Jair, don't do that again."
Yeah,
suspend
in week 17.
Yeah, I don't know if that was the smartest move. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe there's more going on behind the scenes. From what I know, I think I get it. He's not a superstar like he once was. I'd want him out there.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
All right. Yeah. Well, any final thoughts on this game?
No, I think we just about covered it. I am interested to see, we've talked about this Brian Flores defense too. How does Jordan Love handle that matchup, handle that pressure, the pressure's coming. How does he cope with it?
Yeah, should be very fascinating. Let's go from one of the games of the week to another game of the week. I'm going to give you Dolphins, Ravens, battle for the 1 seed. Winner almost Dolphins could win this game and still not get the 1 seed if they then lost the final game of the season and the Ravens won the final game of the season. But more than likely, the winner of this game will get the 1 seed in the AFC. Who do you think that will be?
Yeah. The whole theme of this season has kind of been as soon as you're bought into a team, they lose. Mm-hmm. And that seems to just kind of be the going narrative. Miami was a buzzsaw, killed by Buffalo. San Francisco was a buzzsaw, lost 3 in a row. San Francisco was back, lose to Baltimore. Over and over and over again. It seems like it keeps happening.
Philadelphia had it, right? Where they were.
Yeah, Philadelphia, and then they had 2 losses in a row. All of a sudden, they're in panic mode. So conventional wisdom of this entire season, if the theme of the season holds up, Miami's going to win this and then lose their last game of the season. Because that's just how this season's going. But I am going to pick Baltimore. I'm picking Baltimore because I think they're the better team. As good as Miami's offense is, and it is very good still, it is still excellent. I think this Ravens defense, as we saw last week with all the problems that San Francisco has caused people, I think they can cover just about anybody, and I think they can cover this Miami team. So I'm going with the Ravens here. I think that defense is legit, and Lamar still is just a huge factor where I think Miami does have a good pass rush overall, but now they have to chase Lamar Jackson around, and that's just a different ballgame.
So here's how it works, right? If we're doing that narrative. So the Dolphins are going to win this game. Everyone's going to say Tyreek Hill deserves MVP now. Then the Dolphins lose to the Bills the final game of the season. Josh Allen, last game of the season, he gets the MVP because of that. Then everyone's hyped up on the Bills, and they get knocked out round 1.
Yep, that's exactly how it's going down. The script has been written already. We already know it.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think this is. I agree. To me, this is a very close game. I think this is closer to a coin flip game than maybe people are giving it credit for, because we all know about the speedy receivers that the Dolphins have. The Ravens like the. I kind of think about, how often did Tyreek Hill dominate the Ravens back when he was with Kansas City? I know it's kind of a different offense now, but are they going to view this as, well, it's still Tyreek Hill, we still have to make sure we have 2 guys on him all the time, or are they going to give him some looks, some one-on-ones, in which case I think that'd be a mistake. I think Tyreek Hill could burn them down the field.
Yeah.
And we even saw it last time they played, right? Last year, when, Tua had that 21-point fourth quarter comeback against them.
Yeah. I guess the one thing is, I'm trying to remember the name of the guy. I want to get it right. Let me look this up real quick. Mike McDonald, right? That's the defensive coordinator.
I believe you're quizzing me here, Kyle.
Yeah. Anyway,
but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I think I think I think he's done a really good job this year, and I think that's going to be I think that's something that they've been able to adjust, and it'll be interesting to see, because I don't think they run the same style of defense. Yeah, I agree. And there's some different faces there. And I think it's going to be able to work in their favor. I think this game is going to be low scoring. I think one of the things we've talked about on this podcast, I don't think as many people have talked about it, this Miami defense, the second half of the season, has been very good. And part of it is scheduled. They played the Jets twice. They played the Commanders. They played the Raiders. That's part of it. But they also shut down a team like Dallas last week. So and they also slowed down the Chiefs, which maybe isn't that big of a deal, but they've done a good job against some good offenses too. So I think this has become a very good defense. I think this game's low scoring, and I agree with you, it's close. And even then, like I know that I just gave that defense the praise. I still think that kind of rock fight favors Baltimore. They're just built to win that way.
And I ultimately agree. I'm picking Baltimore to win this game as well. I just think that Miami is a very good team that deserves their respect. And I just think this could be it should be a very interesting game. I mean, these are, I don't know, they feel like potentially the two best teams in football right now. I still probably put San Francisco over Miami, but like these feel like two of the best three teams in football playing each other.
Yeah, definitely feels like it right now. I think Miami's been lights out, and outside of that weird Tennessee game, I mean, they've been one of the most impressive teams the second half of the season.
Yeah, that's only Will Levis can find a way to do that.
Yeah, only Will Levis, and thankfully, maybe for them, Will Levis isn't on that sideline.
I think they would rather play Will Levis than Lamar Jackson.
To be determined.
Who knows? We'll see. Should be an awesome game. Kyle, give me one.
All right. This has worked well for me the last few weeks, so we're going back to the well. We're giving you your team, Saints at Bucks.
I keep picking against my team, and it keeps working, so I probably should just keep doing that, but I am going to pick my team to win, finally. A chance to lock up the division, and I want them to win. I don't want to deal with us have to win against the Panthers situation. I know it's the Panthers. I just don't want to deal with it. Don't worry about it. Win this game. And you don't even have to think about it. Hopefully they can get it done. The Saints are reeling a little bit. Offense hasn't looked great. Tampa Bay won this game handedly the first time they played, albeit Carr was banged up in that game. But you feel pretty good heading into this one. Tampa Bay's offense is playing at its best. No Lattimore is the report heading into this, which obviously very much matters when these two teams play each other. So because of all that, I feel like Tampa Bay has to be favored.
Yeah, definitely has to be favored, and they should be the winners here. And I mean, it still feels like whatever Saints. It depends on what kind of Saints team you get, but they've been just progressively bad the last 6 weeks of the year. And I know they kind of beat up on the Panthers and Giants, but there's a reason teams beat up on the Panthers and Giants. And so I think that it's been a whoa. All right,
the dogs are very into Saints Bucks.
They're going crazy right now, but I'm going to talk over it. But yeah, I think it's I think that the Saints offense is struggling, and I think the Bucks defense is trending up at the right time. So I'm leaning Tampa Bay.
Yes. Yes. Again. What other show has dogs barking in the background?
Exactly.
Kieran says the dog agrees with your Flacco take. I don't know if the dogs are on the chat, Kieran. I think they're just existing.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are locked in.
Maybe no. Yeah. Dog knows ball. Yes, indeed. Dog knows ball. I mean, the Saints, maybe almost a game of pride here at this point, right? It's like, listen, if you end up losing for a tiebreaker, okay, it is what it is. You kind of went all in to win the division. You don't want to lose here week 17, not even really, really kind of go out with a whimper, I feel like, if you do.
Yeah. I mean, it's still, I'm really interested to see what this team does in the offseason again. I feel like I say this every year because, I mean, just how much are they going to continue to go all in on a team that's basically never going to win? And, I don't think the best version of the Saints team anybody was picking as a sneaky Super Bowl pick, right? I don't think anybody was picking that. And I just don't think it's close. So, how long are you going to continue to put yourself against the salary cap constrictions to kind of be average as hell? And right now they're below average.
And the flip side, Tampa Bay's red hot right now. They won the longest win streak in the NFC currently going.
Yeah, and if Lattimore's not out there, giving holding Mike Evans the whole time, I think Baker can have a big game in this one too.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Should be a fun one. At the very least, might be some. I know it's a cliche. Those are two teams that don't like each other. No denying that. Yeah. Let's move on. Kyle, I'm going to give you Raiders at Colts.
Raiders at Colts. I'm still leaning Colts. Look, I know that the Raiders defense, I think, has exceeded my expectations this season. I think they've played well over the last few weeks. I think they've had some good games. I don't trust them to throw the ball, and
Yeah.
I know they beat the Chiefs doing it.
Hmm.
I'm not going to trust them in this game, and I mean it's been a really Jekyll and Hyde team. It seems like this season, especially lately. I know they dropped a 63 on the Chargers. I think that was the Chargers team that had kind of quit at that point, but like they really struggled offensively against the Chiefs. They didn't score an offensive touchdown. They scored 0 against the Vikings. You know, the last time against the Chiefs, they scored 14 and got shut out the rest of the game. I think the offense is going to struggle, and I think the Colts win.
The flip side is, I mean, look at what just happened with the Colts last week, right? I mean,
Hmm.
you want to talk about Jekyll and Hyde. I mean, I think the Colts might have been like the biggest Jekyll and Hyde team. Like when they're playing at their best, they look awesome, but they just have so many down moments. I think overall they've been kind of solid across the board, but it is like, this does feel like a game that I just, they're two teams that, again, both technically have a shot at the playoffs. Colts a lot better than the Raiders, but both are still in it. But it just feels like it feels like the Colts are. I don't know. I just think that they're two teams I can't fully trust, but I can't fully count out either.
Right. And yeah, I mean the 4-game win streak of the Colts looks like a thing of the past, right? Like it just doesn't look like the same product at this point.
Yeah,
I'm curious to see, if Michael Pittman's healthy. I think that's going to help the offense tremendously, obviously. And hopefully he's out there and ready to go because they need him. I mean, when they were winning, I mean, he was their leading receiver for 6 straight games prior to that injury. So they really
yeah.
need him out there. Because I mean, he is the offense at this point.
Yeah. Also, I was looking up the EPA stuff. The Colts currently 16th best defense EPA per plays and 17th best offense EPA per play. That sums it up, doesn't it?
Yeah, that is very average, so it makes sense.
Yeah, that's the Colts exactly. This is an interesting question. If Anthony Richardson was playing this season, do you think the Colts would be that much better, or do they still have too many holes? I don't know what would have happened with Anthony Richardson. I think that's a complete question mark to me. I think people were very high on him right away because he showed his flashes. But I don't know if it would have. It's possible it would have been the exact same, better or worse. I really don't know.
Yeah, I imagine there's probably more mistakes. Richardson
Mhm.
had played pretty well in the games he did play, but he still is prone to mistakes, and I think that they would have happened throughout the year. Um, so I would say that he's not necessarily fixing all the problems.
One other thing, one question before we move on. Do the Raiders remove the interim tag from Antonio Pierce? Does Antonio Pierce earn the coaching job?
Probably not.
Yeah, I
I
think
would
so.
say
Yeah,
no.
the results have been good. He seems very entertaining, but it's just like when there's some of these great candidates out there, I don't know how you go with Pierce over some of them.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, you can definitely interview him and consider him for the job, but I
Sure.
think you should interview other people too.
If they win out and make the playoffs, then okay, maybe it's a different scenario. But
Yeah.
as of right now, that's where I'm at.
Yeah, I would agree.
Well, let's move on then. Kyle, give me a game.
Steelers at Seahawks.
Steelers Seahawks. This is the good. This will be an entertaining one.
Yeah.
As I think the Seahawks maybe have a chance to get in if they lose this game. Steelers do not. Steelers need a win here, and they're the Steelers. How can you pick against the Steelers? I did it last week. I got burned. I am still picking Seattle. I think I trust this Seattle offense way more than I trust the Steelers offense right now. Who I believe Mason Rudolph is still going to be the guy. Hey, throw the ball up to George Pickens. Not the worst strategy in the world. Seattle has corners who I kind of trust better on the outside here in this game, though. So I don't know if it'll work out quite as well. My guess is Rudolph does not replicate his performance he had against the Bengals, and I think Seattle pulls out the victory.
I would agree, and I think Geno Smith's going to find his receivers a little better than Jake Browning did in their last game too. So I like the Seahawks in this game. I like them at home. Steelers traveling across the country. I think that's still a tough thing to do, traveling East Coast to West
You're a
Coast.
big travel, you pay a lot of attention to that.
Listen, traveling East Coast to West Coast is not easy.
Uh-huh. Sure.
That time change does matter to me. Now, maybe not to these people, but it still matters to me. But yeah, I like the Seahawks in this spot. I like their ability. I like how they've been able to throw the ball lately. I think that matters in this game. I think they attack these Steelers corners and win. So give me the Seahawks.
I am a little worried about picking the Steelers when they need one more win to get the 500. But here's how to do it, right? The Baltimore wins this week, and then they rest their starters final game of the season, 9-8 Steelers.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't even need this game.
Right, exactly. They might rest their starters just to play for next week.
Yeah. Really gear up for that Ravens game. That makes sense.
Yeah, I'll just trying to get. They don't even care about the playoffs. It's all about 9 wins.
Yeah. That would be pretty funny.
No, I don't think that'll happen, but yeah, it should be a very fascinating. I guess the one thing you always have to look out for if the Steelers, TJ Watt going off, definitely might have his opportunities here. Oh, I stopped as you were drinking. My bad. I'll
It's
kill a
all
little bit of
good.
time.
It's all good. Yeah, I agree with you. That's definitely a problem, but I still think that the Seahawks have done enough offensively to make me earn they've earned my trust the last few weeks. I'm giving them that trust this week, and yeah, I just think they're going to be able to move the ball.
Yeah, that Drew Lock pass. That's the story of their season right now.
I
For
know,
Seattle.
right?
What a moment. Kyle, I'm giving you Chargers Broncos.
Um,
No
yeah.
Herbert, no Russell Wilson. Where are you going?
I Broncos. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the gap between Russell Wilson and Jared Stidham is going to be that significant. And I think Jared Stidham is better than Easton Stick. So give me the Broncos in this game. I like them in that matchup. And, I know the Chargers looked better last week, but, that could just be the 1 week adrenaline, the first game interim coach bump. I think it kind of regresses back to the mean this week.
Yeah, I mean that's the one thing you look at is they did look better, and I don't know. I just don't. It just feels like the kind of game where it's like, how do you really get that? How do you feel that confident picking either of these teams?
Yeah. What if Stidham's awesome in this game?
I mean, he had his moments with the Raiders.
Yeah, he's not bad.
Mm-hmm. And it felt like when they got him, like they made a conscious effort of like, hey, here's our plan. It's a weird move though, right? Because I kind of thought they had a chance of trading. Maybe I'm just delusional. I thought they had a chance of trading Russell Wilson. And as long as they took on like a good chunk of the contract.
I think their goal is to keep him healthy to trade him.
I guess so, but then why even make him? Because they're still making him the backup.
I don't know.
I feel like you want to bump up his trade stock a little bit, or maybe they feel like benching him now is the way to bump up the trade stock, but having him play a couple of weeks would make it worse.
Yeah,
but also like they're not out of the playoffs. Like they still have there's 2 games left, and you have a chance to make it. I get if you're clinched out, but like I know it's not going to happen, but like it's possible.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that they're kind of writing off their chances a little bit, but maybe that's too pessimistic of me. I don't know. I know there's still mathematically a shot. I mean, winning against the Chargers and Raiders is doable, but you still need a ton of help in your favor too.
Yeah. That's the issue. I mean, in hindsight, maybe they should have beaten the Patriots.
Yeah, that would help.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on. Kyle, give me a game.
Lions at Cowboys.
This was next on my list as well. I was hoping I'd be able to give it to you. We both were on the same page because there's a couple of games of a closer line. Yeah. I'm going Cowboys here, but I don't know. You can just kind of feel the upset brewing, right? And for the Lions, opportunity for a 1 seed. You went out. If the Rams beat the 49ers last game of the season, like if they could get the 1 seed, like that's how crazy things have gone all of a sudden.
Yeah, Lions have turned their season around. Cowboys have slipped up the last couple of weeks. I mean, they played good teams. I don't want to say they've like sucked or anything, but they've lost the last 2 games. So, yeah, I mean, I agree with that. Who did you pick in this game?
Cowboys.
Yeah, I am leaning that too. I think the factor is like, I think teams that can move on the ball in the Lions have a good chance of beating the Lions. I still think, despite the offensive performance last week, Cowboys have a good chance of moving the ball. And I think there's a turnover factor. Like, this Cowboys defense takes the ball away. That's kind of what they do. And, Jared Goff has shown he can give the ball away. And I think that's a big factor in this game.
Yeah, that you definitely have to think about. I mean, it's tough with the Lions defense just hasn't. It even against Minnesota, it was giving up a ton of yards. Like against Nick Mullins, like you have to have concerns about that. And with the Cowboys, I think they're just a complete team. That's kind of why I think I don't know. There's definitely a chance Jared Goff can go off in this and the Lions offense can go off in this, but I still feel like they need that to happen to win this game, whereas Dallas doesn't need any one specific thing to happen to win this game.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. And, I think this Cowboys team can definitely win a track meet, and that's definitely what the Lions want this to become. They want this game played fast. They want this game to be high scoring, but I still think the Cowboys are still built to win that way if they need to.
Luke Brown in the chat says, remember when Jackson predicted Kansas City as the 1 seed with 13 wins? Yeah, I was the only one on Kansas City. Everyone was saying, oh, Kansas City, they stink. And I was like, oh, no. I really went out on a limb giving them 13 wins.
Yeah. It was a bold take. What can I say? No, I'm just kidding.
And I think I was one of the few people actually like saying like, hey, here are I think the Chiefs made issues. I just think they'll figure it out.
Didn't you pick Miami to win the Super Bowl preseason?
Yeah, I had Miami as the 1 seed, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, and making the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Like, did you have them? Oh wait, you don't. You pick your 1 seeds to make the Super Bowl.
Right. I do that weird thing.
Picking favorites. How boring. Yeah. So I don't know. Happens. We get some wrong. We get some right.
I think I was very on the Chiefs set. Hey, Chiefs, my preview. I said, hey, offensive line's worse this year. I'm not sure if the receiving core is going to do it, but they'll probably figure it out. It's Mahomes. It's Andy Reid.
Yeah. They just haven't figured it out.
Yeah, exactly. We're not sure why we're here now. Thank you for hey, at least people care what I have to say. That's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always the fun part of this.
Yeah. Any final thoughts on the Lions Cowboys?
No, I think that's going to be fun. I expect this high scoring, and knowing that it'll be 17-13.
Yeah, exactly. That's it's tends to be how these things go. I'm going to give you a game. I'll give you Titans Texans.
Good pick. I got the Texans. I think CJ Stroud coming back is really going to help. I know Ryan Tannehill looked pretty good last week. I don't know if he's back, if Will Levis is going to be back. This Texans defense looked pretty good the last time these two teams played. If Stroud's back, I like their chances. Give me the Texans fighting for that playoff spot.
Yeah, these teams just played a couple weeks ago. That went into overtime. Texans won 19-16. My question is, what kind of what Stroud are we seeing? That's why I'm giving you this, because I still think there is that X factor. But I agree, and it's just divisional matchups. Anything can happen. Always a good idea to pick as many divisional matchups for your opponent to have to pick in the Pick'em show. But I agree. The game Texans should win, and the game they kind of have to win. I don't know if they even have to, but really they probably do have to win this game to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, I think they do need to win it. They need to make up some ground. They may need to make up one spot here, and I think it's capable of doing that. And this game was 13-0 Titans to start that game, right? Like it looked like a disaster from the start, and all of a sudden, they kind of figured things out and got back into the game. Case Keenum made some big plays, so the Titans definitely could have easily. There's another scenario where the Titans run away with that game. I just think the Texans still have the pieces, and with Stroud back, I'm feeling pretty good about it.
Yeah,
if he's back.
Right. But it's interesting. I don't know. Do we see a Derrick Henry resurgence?
Wasn't he pretty good last week?
Yeah.
Yeah. He could have a big game in this one, but I don't know. Week to week, it seems like it's a toss up with him. It's not the same.
Yeah, well, Keyron said no, so I guess no.
Yeah, he's out then.
Okay, yeah, I guess, yeah. So, okay. Well, that's it then. Want to move on?
Yeah, let's keep going here. I'm going to give you Bengals at Chiefs.
Bengals Chiefs. Interesting. So I think I might have an idea of who you're locking up potentially with this one. Bengals Chiefs. I am going to go with the Chiefs, but this is not a bad pick, even if it's a little early. Because this was my closest one out of the ones that had a 7-point spread or higher, because like we're talking about, like the Chiefs just have looked very uninspired. Here's the thing though, Kyle, maybe this is an insane take. I think the Chiefs still have like a decent chance to win the Super Bowl.
I think they do too, but
yeah.
I don't know if I can trust this offense anymore. But yeah, I mean, they definitely can still make some noise. It's going to be interesting to see down the stretch and if they can figure some things out. But yeah, I mean, it hasn't looked good the last few weeks. It's hard to trust it. It's hard to trust this offense. I might like the Bengals +7 just because it's hard to trust this offense kind of covering the spread here at this point. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think that with Mahomes and Reed, I still want to give it the benefit of the doubt. That's who they are, and they've deserved that. They've earned that sort of credit. They've earned it.
Yeah, Chad is not thrilled with, but like, listen here. I mean, I guess here's my thing: is like the Ravens have what, like the fifth best offense and then like the best defense, right? So like obviously like, that's part of what makes them so great. The Chiefs have one of the best defenses in football still, and they have like the 10th best offense. Like they have that. I know they've had their down moments, but like basically by every metric, the Chiefs offense is still like fringe top 10.
Well, this would break your rule though, right? Of the top 15 receivers. But didn't they do that last year?
Well, they're not that far off. I think they're like 17th best in receiving right now. So like they're in that. They're actually like okay there. Like it's not great, obviously.
Yeah,
I'm not predicting them to win the Super Bowl. I'm just saying like to me they're still like the third best team in the AFC.
Yeah, I would probably agree with that, especially with Jacksonville falling off. So I definitely think it's possible. I mean, call me crazy, but I still think Buffalo can win the Super Bowl. I think there's a chance they win it. I think.
Oh no, everyone will say that. Everyone will agree with you there. People just hate the Chiefs.
Yeah, that's true. Can Cleveland win the Super Bowl?
I mean, that's the thing. Is like people will say, "Oh, Cleveland can win a Super Bowl," and in the same breath say the Chiefs can't. When like the Chiefs are clearly better than Cleveland, in my opinion.
Yeah, I would agree.
Here, and also I should mention, part of what I'm saying is the assumption that like they can have one guy step it up, and then I think this team still feels fixable, even though we are in week 17.
Well, the last couple of weeks, the person who needs to step up is Travis Kelce.
Yeah,
like if they have Kelce and Rice, that like a good Kelce and Rice, that makes a huge difference.
Kelce and Rice sounds like a dish.
Yeah.
You could sell that like I don't know.
What's Taylor Swift eating tonight? No, I'm just kidding.
Okay, all right. But yeah, I mean, it's just a good defense, and Mahomes can go off, and the Chiefs can win any game.
Yeah,
but they can also lose a lot of games, which is the issue.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I'm with you on this one. I still think that they can win for sure.
Like they beat Miami this year. So
we're in agreement here. I'm with you.
We're in agreement, but the chat is all mad at me. The chat, chat just is it's very anti-Jackson chat today. I don't know what happened. I'm sorry, chat.
Team Kyle is just taking over.
I think so. You're winning. Everyone's mad at me. I don't know what I'm doing my best here. All right.
Yeah. We can move on if you don't want to be yelled at anymore. Absolutely no way the Chiefs can win the Super Bowl. You're crazy.
Let's just do 1 minute on the. I don't know. Is there any potential that Jake Browning kind of turns back to being like a good quarterback when he's not playing the Steelers?
His receivers have to bail him out, and I mean that's capable.
Oh, yes,
that's possible almost. It's possible any week because of those guys. I don't know if I'm betting on it, but yeah, it's definitely possible still.
Yeah. Let's move. And also, Chiefs still with the still top 5 in Super Bowl odds according to Vegas.
Rightfully so.
Yeah,
they've earned the benefit of the doubt. They'll always have it.
Yeah. So there you go. Sorry to everyone who got upset about my Chiefs take. Let's move on. I'm going to give you. Well, I know which game you're locking up, so I'm going to give you Panthers Jaguars.
Definitely not locking up this game, but I am going to take the Jaguars. If they lose this game, you can go ahead and just throw away the season. Like, I don't know what to do with it at this point. But yeah, Jaguars should win this one. I know it's looked bad. They still should beat the Panthers. So give me the Jags. Yeah.
I'm with you. It's just I don't know. This Jaguars team looks so uninspired, right? I don't know how healthy Trevor Lawrence is at this point. Also, we have a super chat. Kelsey's age is showing. The season has wore him down. Again, I don't think Kelsey's been as good as he's been in the past. I still think he's a good player, though. He's going to have over 1,000. Does he already have 1,000 yards? If not, he'll get there. But I agree. He hasn't looked as good as he's been in the past. But yeah, back to Panthers, Jaguars. I don't know how healthy Lawrence is.
Yeah, he doesn't look healthy at all. But I don't know. And that's been a big problem. And, he's gotten some criticism for it, trying to play through this injury, and he hasn't played well. But yeah, I mean, I just don't think it's working. And, it's still, an unhealthy Lawrence should still be able to beat this team, right?
Yeah, I think so. But I guess the weird thing is so the Jaguars, I was always lower on than the consensus was. I never put them in my Super Bowl contender tier all year because I was like, okay, they cover really well and Lawrence is really good, but they have so many other issues that I'm not as high on them. Well, now Lawrence isn't playing well and they're not covering well. So it's like, what is this team doing well at this point?
Nothing.
Yeah. Jamal Agnew's good at returning kickoffs.
Yeah, that is good. Calvin Ridley's had some good games this year.
Yeah, but I mean, he hasn't done what they thought they were getting with him.
I mean, I still think it was kind of just a flyer. I mean, he still might get 1,000 yards this year. Like, I don't think it's been a bad season. And honestly, I think the last few weeks he's been better. I don't know. It's definitely been a tumultuous season for them, especially the last this most recent stretch.
Yeah, it's been. I mean,
4
their
losses
offensive
in a
line.
row. 4 losses in a row. I don't know what they're good at right now.
Yeah, it's tough. And Panthers have played competent football this past couple weeks.
Yeah, I don't know how much I take into account Bryce Young's performance against Green Bay, but
They beat Atlanta the week before.
Yeah, I mean they've done a little bit better the last few weeks. I agree.
They've looked like an NFL team. That's what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. They need a couple more wins.
Yeah, I know are you still rooting for the Panthers, or are you kind of done with that?
I don't think we can get the first pick, so
yeah,
it's indifferent.
That's over. But they would have had a chance, it didn't. But with that win against Denver, it's over.
Yeah, I agree.
Let's move on. Why don't we? Let's see. So time for you to give me a game.
All right, Jets at Browns.
Okay. Jets Browns. Yeah, I mean, how can you Joe Flacco revenge game? How can you bet against Joe Flacco? Well, you could. I mean, Jets defense still is good, and I don't know how much confidence I have in the elite quarterback Joe Flacco. But I still think, how can you bet against the Browns here?
You can't. I still would pick the Browns. I like the Browns in this game. I still think they should win pretty handedly, but there is the chance that Joe Flacco turns the ball over 4 times in this game against the Jets defense, and that flips everything. But yeah, I think it should be easily Browns still.
Yeah, I don't know. I do think the Jets might do a slightly better job at covering Amari Cooper than what happened last week. I think it's possible. I think Sauce Gardner might do a slightly better job.
That's a hot take. We'll have to see it play out. But yeah, I would. I think there's a good chance of that too.
Yeah, but I don't know. Who would have thought the Browns would just be the most fun team in football all of a sudden? They were the most boring team for the first 10 weeks. Now all of a sudden, I can't wait to watch them.
Yeah, I mean, who doesn't love Joe Flacco? It's as simple as that.
Yeah, it is. Flacco's and how many games he played? 5 games or so. The 10 touchdowns to 7 interception ratio, but that's just perfect. I want it to be a perfect 1-to-1, but with a high number on both sides.
15 touchdowns, 15 interceptions to end the season, 8 picks over the final 2 weeks. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Most fun. Is Joe Flacco the most fun quarterback to watch right now?
I don't know about that, but he has been fun.
Yeah, I'm not even sure who's starting for the Jets in this game. I was assuming it's Simeon. Is Wilson going to play? I don't know. Do I care? Not really.
No. Who cares?
If it's not Rodgers, I'm not really that interested at the Jets at this point. I apologize, Jets fan.
I'm hardly interested if it's Rodgers anymore.
But that might be fair. Let's move on. I'm going to give you a game, Kyle. I'm going to give you, so again, we're saving Rams Giants because you're going to lock that. So I'm not going to give you that one. I'll give you Patriots Bills.
Yeah. This was the next highest game on my list with these double-digit. This is the highest game with the double-digit lines on my list, just because the Patriots did beat the Bills already this season.
Mm-hmm.
But Mac Jones isn't walking through that door this week. Give me the Bills. They have so much more to play for. They are desperate for this win, and yeah, they should win it.
Yeah. Kieran, do you hate watch the show or something? Bringing up the Zach Wilson take. I think you brought what did I do to you, Kieran? I thought we were good.
Yeah, he just all out on Jackson. That's all it is.
Yeah. What
Team
happened?
Kyle has a way with people. That's all.
Man, once they saw some of my takes last week, and you know what? Screw this guy. What? He doesn't know anything.
Yeah, you hated on the Ravens too much. That's why.
When did I?
You didn't even hate You didn't even hate the Ravens. You just didn't like them enough.
I feel like people criticize that I'm too positive, too high on the Ravens over the years.
I don't know. I
Anyway,
don't know,
let's get back
man.
to the game. No one cares about us. Let's talk about the game. Yeah. The reason why I'm giving it to you is obviously the Patriots won before, and this Patriots defense is playing really well. I do think the Patriots
Mhm.
defense could limit Josh Allen in this game. Again, how can you trust the Patriots offense? But it's starting to look again competent these past couple weeks.
It has started to look competent. They can at least move the ball up and down the field a little bit. And it may not always result in points, but there is at least some movement and some positivity there. So, I think the passing game has looked marginally better. And I think that's helped a long way. So, yeah, I agree.
Kyle, what are you as a Patriots fan? What are you? You got to be hoping to knock you would love to knock the Bills out of
Oh,
the playoffs,
yeah.
right?
I would love to beat this team. Why
Uh,
not? Why not just knock them out of the playoffs? We can't get the number one pick anyway. Let's just beat this team, knock them out of the playoffs, and make their season miserable with the 2-game sweep. That's what I want.
I think everyone else is like, can we get the Bills in the playoffs, please? Like
Uh,
this team, they're the most frustrating team in the world. Like this is clearly a good team.
yeah.
Just get into the playoffs, guys. Come on.
It would be great if they could win this one like 35-0, but I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, that would be that is what they need to do. But Patriots know how to defend this team. So I'll say this. Give me Patriots plus 12. I'll take that bet.
Maybe. I don't know. Like, I do agree that they know how to defend this team, but we've also seen Josh Allen score on 7 straight possessions against the Patriots. So who knows?
I'm gonna do the thing where I'm gonna pick the Patriots to win, which I totally would never do if I was the one picking this game on the stat sheet. But because I'm not, and no one will remember it, Patriots totally gonna win. Just like last week when I picked Baltimore to win.
That would be great. Let's see.
Yeah, I don't even know how many people watching actually understand what I'm saying, but it's fun for me.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
very little.
That's okay. Sometimes you got to just say stuff to entertain yourself.
Yeah. That's what I continue to say, this podcast is for us, not for everybody else.
Yeah, everyone else is invited, but this is for you. This is just so you and I have a chance to talk.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah. All right, Kyle, give me a game.
All right, next on my list is I don't really have too much to say about this game, but Cardinals at Eagles. Yeah, there you go.
I'm picking the Eagles to win this one. I guess. I mean, Eagles have looked down these past few weeks, and with the Cardinals, I don't know. Can Kyler go off? We haven't really seen that. Kyle, he doesn't have a lot of talent around him. What is he really going to do? But I don't know. Yeah, it's the Cardinals. They look bad against every team. I have to imagine against, say what you want about the Eagles. They're still definitely a good team. The question is, are they Super Bowl good or just like playoffs good? But this is the game they should cover this spread.
Yeah. I mean, there's definitely the chance of that. Jonathan Gannon, kind of knows that Philadelphia playbook. Is that going to help a little bit? But yeah, I just think it's I still feel pretty confident in the Eagles winning this game, and this Cardinals team just does not have the talent to compete. And I think it's two different teams right now.
Man, that's tough for the Jaguars when you're confusing them and the Cardinals.
I'm sorry, just a slip of the tongue.
I don't know, maybe a Freudian slip.
Yeah, basically. They basically played the same the last few weeks, I would say.
I think so. Yeah, Jonathan Gannon revenge game.
Is it a revenge when you just get a promotion?
Yeah, it's always a revenge. That's how it works.
No bad blood whatsoever. You just left to take a bigger job, and it's a revenge game. What are you revenge? Yeah.
I'm sure he's mad that they didn't fire Nick Sirianni and make him the head coach instead.
I love that idea. He's just so pissed about it this whole time. I should have been coaching in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. The players we got to show up, show coach our support that they should have fired that guy.
Yeah, that would be funny.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. Not much to add to this game. Want to just move on?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, so there's 2 games left. It's Niners Balls and Rams Giants, and this keeps happening where one of us has a game locked up and it gets found out. A lock candidate and it gets found out, and so they don't get to pick it. So I'm going to give you Niners Balls here.
Fine. I will lock up the 49ers.
Not going to lock up the Jacoby Brissett Balls?
No.
I can't say it like that. The Jacoby Brissett led Washington football team.
Yeah. I'm not going to do that. That being said, I don't love this lock because Jacoby Brissett is playing. I'm not saying it's a guarantee that it's they're going to win by 14. But I think they should still win by 14. So, yeah, go ahead and give me the 49ers here. Feel pretty good in this spot. They're still the best team in the league, and they should kill this Washington team. They should still kill them. They can't defend them. So, 49ers should put up 40 in this game as they want it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's the thing. It's like I guess, I don't know, the Brock Purdy thing, he threw some interceptions. Could his confidence be shattered? I still don't think it matters. I'm with you. I think if they, I don't know, if they did the Joe Judge special of quarterback sneak every drive, I think that they'll still probably put up 30 points.
Yeah, that's probably the case. And Sam Darnold might be able to put 40 points on this team. So, just don't feel good about this Commanders team at all. And I think it's a really good decision to put Jacoby Brissett in. So they might actually put up some points in this game.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Could Washington? To me, could Washington cover? That's the concern. I think you can't lock up Washington. That's just not an option. Can't do it. But could they lose by 10? Yeah, I think it's possible.
It's possible. We just haven't seen it at all this season.
But they haven't had Jacoby. We've seen it when Jacoby Brissett comes into the game.
Yeah, that's true. Fair enough.
Mm-hmm. What if Jacoby Brissett's just awesome? What if he throws like 6 touchdowns in this game? What do you do?
Then Ron Rivera should be fired at the end of the game.
I think he'll just go home. He'll just I get it, guys. I'm out. Thanks for having me.
They win this game by like 20, and Ron Rivera is fired after it for not playing the right quarterback.
Exactly. That would be incredible.
Yeah, that would be pretty good.
Well, but good get right game for San Francisco.
Yeah, I mean it should be. This is the right team to play at this time of the year.
Yeah. All right, one game left. So I will be picking the Rams and Giants. I'm picking the Rams to win. Kyle, you were going to lock this game, but I brilliantly found out. Once again, just doing great stuff here on the Pick'em Show. No one can do it like I can. This is why I'm a 3-time champion.
Oh, yeah. Good job by you. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I like the Rams in this game. I didn't love a ton of the walks this week, and I think that played a part. And, I mean, I'm not trusting the Giants to cover a 4.5-point spread against the playoff team at this time of year. So, yeah, give me the Rams here. I think they should be able to move the ball. I think Stafford's put together a terrific season. I think he's been awesome. And, I thought things were better with Tyrod Taylor, but I'm still not trusting it.
I feel like the Giants are weird because, like, I still have it in my head that they're, like, this awful football team that they were, like, they've been all right, like, this past, like, month or so. Like, they've been okay.
Yeah. I mean, they have...
they're plucky.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they have some things to be, feel good about. Like, it wasn't as much of a disaster, but it's still, I would say, a bad football team.
Yeah, Kieran says Stafford is playing great. One of Jackson's better takes. Oh, look, Kieran and I back on the same page. Back friends again.
There you go. Everyone's back on Jackson's side. But I will get the win this week and we'll be okay. Everybody will be on my side again.
I think this one might come down to whoever gets the Super Bowl right, Kyle. This season.
I think it's finally I mean, the way our point system works, it's basically everyone comes down to who wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we're very intentional with how we do that.
Yeah, they're this one should come down to the wire.
Joe is Jackson finally neutral on the Giants. Took me a while, Joe, but yeah, I finally am willing to say they are a plucky but still not great team.
Yeah, that's as nice as we can describe it.
I think so. I'm with you. I did my MVP rankings. I tweeted it out. I had Stafford on, I think it was like 5th or 4th maybe on my list. I'll look it up. But yeah, I think he should be on the short list. I had him 4th. I went Josh Allen. I still have Dak 2, Lamar 3, Stafford 4, Tua 5, and Purdy 6. That's my list.
I would be okay with that list. If it has to be a quarterback award, I would say that's the top 6.
Yeah. And again, it's one of those things too, where it's like, that's what I think. You could argue a couple others, but some people will just lose their mind. How could you have this guy over, whatever. We're all just doing our best here.
Yeah. It's, everyone has an opinion. It's okay.
And then, Tommy DeVito is 7.
Tommy DeVito?
Yeah.
What about Mac Jones?
No, not even as a joke.
I would have him 8th. Just for
okay.
Fun.
Okay, just for sure. Why not? Yeah, but I don't know. It's interesting. Stafford's been great this season. I would not want to play the Rams in the playoffs. I just wouldn't.
No, this team looks like a pain in the ass, right? This young defense combined with the receivers. There, I like this team. I really do. I think I locked them up last week, and I
Yeah.
still feel I was going to lock them up again this week. I just like this team. I enjoy watching them play, and I enjoyed Stafford doing his thing. I mean, they have
Yeah.
that. They have Kyron Williams, who feels like he's going to be able to win a game in January. You have these receivers. All of it looks pretty good.
Yeah, a lot of fun stuff with them. Kyle, I know you have to head out, which is why we did a little bit of a shorter show. Let them know where you can find us on Twitter. If they're not currently watching us on Twitter, let them know where you can find us on Twitter before we head out.
Yeah, make sure to follow us on Twitter. That is at Jackson Kruger. Make sure to follow me at by Kyle Gronin. And make sure to follow the account page at On the Sideline JK. That is at On the Sideline JK.
Of course, if you like audio only podcast, anywhere you get your podcast, just search On the Sideline Podcast. That should be available there. And yeah, Kyle, I'll let you get going.
All right, let's get out of here. Thank you everyone tuning in. Reminder, we're not going to be here Sunday because that's New Year's Eve, but we will be back on Wednesday with a longer show that includes week 17 breakdown, shorter week 17 breakdown.
Yes, yeah, we're here. We're down to the end of it. Again, thank you to everybody. We do appreciate it. Until next time, have a good one.
Peace.